gentlemen, turn your speakers up. It's time for the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Turn up the bass. A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE. Oh yeah! Let's meet the hosts. First, a man hailing from the hub city in Indiana. He goes by @TooSweetKyle on Twitter. The host, Kyle Gagliardi. Enter co-host, hailing from the valley of Lake Tahoe. He goes by @JimTuck89 on Twitter. Jim Tucker. And last but not least, hailing from the cornfield somewhere in Indiana, the full-time part-timer, Ian Garavaglia. Turn up the bass. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram @PodOnTheMark.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I'm your host, Mr. OTM, Kyle Gagliardi. And joining me, as always, is the full-time part-timer himself, Ian Garavaglia, coming off a fresh Cubs win in the postseason. How you feeling, dog?
Fucking good, thankfully, because we were scared for a second.
You already
included.
cussed.
Oh, well.
There
Sorry
goes
for
the
cussing.
views.
Sorry
Yeah,
for
it's
cussing.
okay. Go ahead.
Could have been a really bad interview. If the Cubs would have blew that in the ninth inning, I might have had a lot more drinks slammed in me before the interview. That would have been pretty rough. But we're happy. The Cubs won. I kept the hat on, so I am happy. It's been a day.
It's been a day for you. I was getting nervous for you, and I'm not even a Cubs fan. As you know, I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan, but I figured I'd be nice today, and I'd root for the Cubs. That way you'd be happy because we're all in a good mood. There's a lot of fun things going on here at OTM, but the chat's lighting it up, guys. What's going on? Kind's in the house. Say what's up, dogs. Good to see Kind as always. Hot Sauce Bill Moss also here, and one half of the MVMs is in the house. That is Kind. He's part of Kind School. I think that was their team name. I don't know what their team name was.
To be honest, don't remember.
It's already been a week, guys, so we already forgot your tag team name, so that just shows you how irrelevant you actually are. Just kidding. I didn't mean that. But hey, the MVM title will not be on the line whenever we do interviews. There's no point of defending the title because it's all about our guest here, and the chat's going crazy. And look at that. Even the man himself's in the chat. Hey, Ben. Good to see you. We'll bring you here in a little bit because we got to tell people about what's going on over at the Main Event Wrestling Network at @mainevent_net. Our future guest that's hopping on here in a couple minutes was actually on the Wrestling Junkies podcast, who is also part of the Main Event Wrestling Network. So make sure you show some love to our network at @mainevent_net. Ian, if they don't know about the main event, why don't you tell them a little bit about what we're doing over here?
Well, I mean, just to give you a full recap for those that are probably brand new to this episode just because of the interview, the Main Event Wrestling Network, if you like our podcast, there are a lot more people exactly like us. Not the same opinions. We get into some heated arguments during our mixers, but...
we do. We do.
But it's a conglomeration, as we would say, of people who just enjoy to talk wrestling and just love what we're watching every single week, and that could be in the form of a vlog, that could be in the form of a podcast. That's pretty much it. But if you like the content that we're producing and you like the vibes you're getting, look around at the Main Event Wrestling Network. There's a lot for you.
Main event moves, as we like to say over here. And if you like what we're doing at OTM, guys, we're live every single Thursday. You can go to our merch store, onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. That's the best way to support the show, keep the lights on, because it ain't free over here. This is just a side job for us, right? That ain't our full-time job.
Yeah, no. I wish.
And we're on the road to 500 subscriber, guys. I think we are at 474, so I think we can get there after this conversation, because as you can see behind me, there are big things happening this weekend, Ian, going down at Lakefront Brewery. We got Big Trouble Ben Bishop taking on the self-proclaimed indie god himself, Matt Cardona. So why don't you introduce our special guest?
Yeah, you've already said one of his nicknames, but I'll give you the rest of them. We got Mr. Big Trouble We have the Stud Muffin, which I see he's wearing that shirt right now, which I
I
absolutely
do.
love
Look
that
at
shirt.
that. The big boy shirt. Hell yeah, dude.
We also got the Shindy God and recently announced PWI 304. Couldn't crack the 300, but hey,
Yeah, you know what?
next
It's
year.
always up from here.
Yeah, can't go back.
Hopefully can't go backwards. Definitely can go backwards.
We
try to
could,
move
but
forward.
I don't think that's the direction you're going, Ben. Hey, we've talked before at actually the last Pro Wrestling Venture show, but this is the first time sitting down with you on the podcast, so we appreciate you taking the time to chat with us, dude.
Of course, guys. Thank you all so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And looking forward to this weekend. I like Cincinnati, but I like Milwaukee. I like Milwaukee a little better. I'm excited. We're gonna have a show in Milwaukee. Cool city.
Yeah, you weren't there at the last time they ran at that venue, correct?
I was not. Now, where do you guys live? Are you guys Chicago guys?
We're Chicago-based,
Originally.
yeah.
Indianapolis now, yeah.
Northwest
Oh.
Indiana.
Okay, well, you're making a hell of a trek up to Milwaukee. Are you both going to be there?
We're going to try. I'm going to try. I have a hotel there already, Ben, so I'm going to try
There
to
we
make
go.
it.
All right, it's half the battle. It's half the battle. No,
And there's-
yeah. Milwaukee's a great town, man. I've been once, and it smells like cheese and beer, so it doesn't smell the best. But and sausage too. But I love it. It's a cool, and the Brewers are in the play. I mean, probably you're a Cubs fan. You're a Cubs fan, but it's still fun though. The Brewers are in the playoff. Last time I was there was 2018, and I think that's when the Sox won their last World Series. I'm a Red Sox fan.
Oh, okay.
And they're on right now, but
Can't believe you're doing this.
But the Brewers, I got it on the TV. If you see me look. Yeah, no, the Brewers were in. That was when the Brewers had a really, really good year. They lost the NLCS that year, but I was up there during that time, and obviously Milwaukee was going crazy for them. But it's a cool town. A lot of history, a lot of things going on. So I'm excited for this Sunday. It's going to be awesome at Lakefront. And I've been there before. I actually had a few beers there, but I couldn't believe it was the same place.
And I'll tell you what, I think, I don't know if it was the last time they were there, or it might have been at another brewery. Things can get crazy at these Pro Wrestling Ventures shows. I think Lance Archer threw Trevor Outlaw through a keg. So if we see anything like that this weekend, I think we could maybe.
I'm sure Trevor deserved it. That sounds about right.
Yeah, he did.
Sounds about right. No, I've not been to ESW in Buffalo yet, but I have talked to the promoter. Hopefully soon, Bill.
Hey, look at the podcast that said "Go Phillies." I don't think we
right.
care about that, do we?
Yeah, no one.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's okay. They're probably going to win the World Series. Who knows? But
I
hey,
know
we're
my
not-
money's on the Mariners. I'm a Sox fan. Money's on the Mariners.
Same.
Money's
I
on
got
the
Really?
Mariners over Phillies.
I think Mariners. There's this guy. I don't know who it is, but there's a guy who predicts it and he's been like right.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
And
yeah.
he picked the Mariners for
Is
2025.
that the Astros guy?
Not Mattress Mac.
Not Mattress.
No, he's talking like the guy that's like predicts things. Yeah, he's done like Super Bowls too.
and he like gets them right. Like majority of the time. And he said Mariners in 2025. Like this was like 2 years ago.
Oh,
That's a
and-
wild pick. 2 years ago.
and that, I know, right? But I don't know how he figured it out, but they're like one of the favorites, so it's gonna.
Yeah.
So you're telling me to download DraftKings right now and put a futures on them?
Not sponsored.
Let's all put our money together and put on the Mariners futures bet. Mariners, I'm picking the Mariners.
We'll call it the Big Trouble Ben Bishop parlay. How about
If it's
that?
not the Sox, then I'm gonna go with the Mariners.
Fair enough. As long as it's not the Cubs, I'll be happy. That's all that really matters
well,
to
what are
me.
you, Kyle? Who are you a fan?
Even worse.
St. Louis Cardinals
St.
fan,
Louis
Ben.
Cardinals. Okay.
Yeah.
But then you've had a lot of good years, so don't be upset about that. I mean,
Dude, I was in high school, and like I told you, growing up in Northwest Indiana, so there's a lot of Chicago fans around me. In the same year, I got to see a Cardinals World Series and a Green Bay Packers Super Bowl. And those are my two favorite teams.
there you go.
Best year of my life. Downhill from there.
Cardinals won a few years, like they won like 2 or 3, right? In like in the 2000s.
Yeah, 2006 and 2011 are the ones I've
That
seen.
was it. Okay.
And
2006,
the Red Sox took care of us, I believe, in one of those World Series.
Yeah, that was the second.
05, I think, or maybe somewhere around
no,
there.
05 was the White Sox.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I remember that team very well.
Oh, how can you
I
not?
remember all the 2000. I don't remember any teams now. All the 2000 teams I remember
Same.
in my heart. AJ Przinsky. I remember AJ Przinsky.
Oh, dog.
Yeah.
Even though
No,
I
I think of this because 07 was when the Sox beat the Rockies. 04 is when.
Oh, 4. Yeah. So I was close.
It was the
I
first one. Then
I was in the area.
they swept the Cardinals and they swept the Rockies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of postseason history between the Cardinals and the Red Sox, actually, which is pretty interesting. But hey, we could talk about baseball all we want, but I would say we talk about wrestling, but that's not my first question. That's not my first question for you, Ben.
Let's hear
So obviously you've been making a name for yourself as of late in the ring, but and of course on social media. But I want to take things back to life before professional wrestling real quick. Now, you probably don't know this, but I'm a big college basketball guy. I used to have my own college basketball podcast, and I'm an Indiana Hoosier since birth. So, that's college basketball through and through. So you yourself, you played Division I basketball at Vermont, and I believe you even made the NCAA tournament a time or two, if I'm not mistaken. So with all that being said, do you feel like playing at such a high level in D1 basketball helped you in becoming a professional wrestler? And what was that college experience like for you at Vermont?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start with like when it comes down to being what it takes to be a pro wrestler, right? So the physical aspect of it, I was able to pick things up very fast. Not only because I was a wrestling fan my whole life, so I always watched it. I wasn't just like an athlete coming in and just like I never watched wrestling. It's just something to do, which obviously happens a lot now. So I was able to pick things up because, again, it's just learning how to move your body in space, and that's what wrestling is, right? So I always was able to do that. A lot of people that come into wrestling that might not have an athletic background don't know how to do that. Like they'd be like, "Oh, I love wrestling, but I've never done anything athletic in my life, and now I'm trying to pick this athletic endeavor up." Yeah, it's not real sports, but it's still an athletic endeavor.
Absolutely.
So I was able to pick it up in that sense. And then when it comes to like the mental aspect, I played in front of crowds of 25, 30,000 people. Like I've been in like environments where I'm getting called every name in the book. I've been in front of student sections ripping me apart. So being in wrestling, it's like, I mean, dude, I've heard it all. Like even online, I've heard it all, guys.
Yes, you have.
It's not like this stuff doesn't really faze me, it's because I've dealt with it in real, like playing Division I sports, where students from that school don't care what they say to you. They'll say the most ruthless shit to you.
As a former student, I was going to say I've said some very vulgar things that would probably get me canceled.
Yeah, especially when I played too, from like 09 to 13, where nobody was getting canceled for anything, so they said whatever they want. There was social media was around, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now, and so people would let us have it. These students would let us have it, all in our faces. So I've heard it all. So the mental and the physical really, really helped out. What was the second part of that question you said?
Just what was your college experience like at Vermont? I'm just curious because
dude, it was amazing. Personally and individually, I do wish I had a little bit better of a career, and that's selfish of me saying that.
Hey, you had points per game every year.
Yeah, I had points I scored points every year. I'll answer your question in a second, but I had amazing teammates. I still follow Vermont. I loved everything about Burlington, Vermont. It's one of my favorite places on earth. I've wrestled there a few times in front of my former coach and former teammates of mine, which was amazing. Got to wrestle Steve Macklin up there, and that was also basketball alumni weekend. So a lot of former teammates were in town, so it worked out perfectly.
Perfect storm.
And so I'll always be a Catamount fan. I'll always support them. Like I said, individually, I wish I had a better career, but team-wise, everything was perfect. It's an amazing college town. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I'll answer your question. I did play against a few NBA. So Kemba Walker.
Oh, I loved Kemba. He was so good.
So that was when they won in 2011.
He was an animal that tournament.
So we played against our second game of the year. Was against UConn. So we played against him that year. Jimmer Fredette, Andrew Gowdlock, Norris Cole. That was all my sophomore year. So we played all those guys. So Cleveland State, we played in the NIT. I'm trying to think of other. There's been a few others. Kemba Walker is the one that really, and Jimmer are the two that really come to mind.
Kemba Walker's a huge name. When you think of UConn and the March Madness, there's always one guy that takes them to the end, and that was Kemba that year.
And Kemba was unconscious and such a nice guy too. So is Jimmer. Really nice.
That's awesome.
I remember my roommate had to guard him, and he was defensive player of the year.
Good luck.
And he's like, I've never been more tired. He said, Jimmer Fredette, I've never seen anybody run through more screens than Jimmer Fredette, of just like, they just kept setting screens for him. And he said, and he was like, I've never seen anybody also be able to stop on a dime like Jimmer Fredette. He would dribble the ball and just stop, pull up from anywhere. And it was in Glens Falls, which is why they picked us to play against BYU that year, because we were.
Oh, that makes sense because of the regions.
He's from Glens Falls, New York. So it was, but it was all, even though we were only about an hour and a half away from Glens Falls, New York, the whole place was for BYU. It was
not surprised.
It was a home game because that's where he's from. So, then that was I think they could have went farther, but a few guys got hurt or kicked off the team or whatever happened at BYU. But that was a really solid team. They were really good.
Dude, I'm not even lying to you right now. Ian, I know you got a question for him, but I have a Facebook profile picture from when I was in high school that I'm still trying to find, and I'm probably not going to find it, but it literally was just a picture of Jimmer Fredette because of how awesome he was. Dude, people don't understand, like, he was the guy of that era.
Oh, my God. That was the 2010-2011 season. He was unconscious.
There it
is. He was unbelievable. It was crazy to watch and in person watch him, because he's not like that tall of a guy. People don't realize he's only like 6 foot 6'1", and that's why unfortunately he didn't really work out in the NBA. But in college, man, he gave us like 28, and I remember my teammate looking at me, he's like, well, I held him to his average, I guess.
Can't be mad, right?
No,
as long as there's not a 30-burger on the scoreboard.
He also didn't play like the last 10 minutes of the game, so
probably didn't need to.
No, they were beating us pretty well. They were pretty good. I mean, they were.
Hey, but you're in the tournament. That's all that matters, right?
Twice.
We were in the tournament. And that was the other thing. Is like, my junior year we played against UNC, and they had Tyler Zeller, Harrison Barnes, Kendall Marshall. It was that team. My freshman year was against Syracuse. That was like Andy Routens. No one that really had a lot of success in the NBA. Scoop Jardine.
No.
Rick Jackson. Anawaku. Chris Joseph. That was that Syracuse team.
Yeah, those are some college names for sure. That's a deep
definitely big. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad you brought up height, because that kind of transitions into my next question. Because I'm just gonna state the obvious here pretty quickly. You're a tall son of a bitch.
Yeah, I mean,
you're 6'12", walking out there to the ring. I've seen you in person. It ain't a made up number, people. He is 6'12", absolutely huge. So I just want to ask you, just how are you feeling these days? How's wrestling treating you? And kind of, obviously, there are big differences between you and, a wrestler on the indies that might be 100 pounds soaking wet. So I just want to ask you, any different paths you have to take with your rehab to,
Yeah, I mean, wrestling's been good to me, man. Wrestling's a roller coaster. A lot of people, you get into it, and when I first started, a lot of people would say to me, it's like, oh, you're look at your size, and Vince is gonna love you, and this, that, and the other.
God damn it, pal!
And you're gonna have a job in 6 months. You're gonna have a job in a year. You're gonna have a job within 2 years. You're gonna have a job. It's a lie. I heard that all the time, and like, that's cool and all. And I know people have good intentions when they say things like that, but it just keeps eating. It kept eating away at me, and I'm like, oh well, why don't I have a job? Why don't I have a job? Why don't I have a job? And then, that's why I started doing more stuff like these videos and the social media stuff, because I'm like, nothing is working. Like, I'm a tall guy, I'm in shape, I'm aesthetically pleasing, like, but something's not working, and I'm missing something. I'm just not getting over, not figuring it out. So that's why I kind of started doing a lot of these videos and trying to just stand out in different ways and using my humor and personality to advance me, because obviously the height alone wasn't working. Mm-hmm. And I just needed to finally be honest with myself, because I'm like, because a lot of people will just be like, oh, I wrestling owes me something. It doesn't owe us anything. Like, it doesn't owe us, like it is. I make jokes about it, but it is a privilege to be a wrestler. And we were all, everyone that is a wrestler on the indies was a fan, or you wouldn't do this. Like, if you're not a fan of wrestling, why would you do this?
Exactly. Like, unless you're getting recruited by WWE.
Yeah, it's a grind. And but even all them, I know they all have a passion for it. Like, it's a grind, man. Like, people are like, oh, you get to travel all the time. It's like, no, I go to airports. I get out of the airport. I get in a van. I go to some building, some random building. Oh, the show ends at 10:30. Oh, perfect. Just enough time to not eat anything. Just enough time to get a protein bar at a convenience store. Go back to the hotel. Oh, it's 12:30. Oh, but guess what? You got to be up at 4 a.m. for your flight. Oh, okay, get there, and then you're just tired the rest. So it's not like this glamorous thing that people think. Indie wrestling is an absolute grind. Like, and you're not getting like, unless you're like a former name from WWE, it's not like you're making a ton of money. Maybe hopefully you go to a place that likes to buy merch and people will buy some merch and you get that. That's where you make most of it. But we do it because we love it, and it is fun. And I love going out there and performing in front of people. I like showing my personality. It was always my first love. Like I played basketball because that's what gets me a scholarship to college, right? And I loved basketball. I did, but once I started getting more injuries and stuff, I was kind of like, it's not for me anymore. And I'm happy that I kind of fell ass backwards into wrestling.
Yeah.
I just went to a show and Gilbert was like, "You want to be a wrestler?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." Because I'm just an agreeable person and I'm a people pleaser. So I said, "Sure." And now
that's why you're doing this.
Now I'm here. Like, it's like I wasn't searching out wrestling schools or anything. I didn't even think I was going to do it. I would have loved to. But now then it turned into this. So, it's been great. It's been great. I can bitch and moan all I want, and I can say things like, I wish I was signed. I wish WWE would have saw something more in me, or I wish it would have made a different decision. But, I'm really fortunate to be able to do this. I'm fortunate to be a 35-year-old guy, and be in, good health with bumps and bruises. We all have them, but like in good health and be able to go out and do something that I never thought I would do. So you got to always look at the silver lining when it comes to it. It can be pain in the ass. It can be a grind. It's a bitch of an industry. But again, we're fortunate. Like not everybody wants to do this, but not everybody gets to do it. So it has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and as long as you're having fun, I say keep doing it. That's why we keep doing this podcast. Like I said earlier, we don't get paid to do this, but we do it because we love the business. We love talking wrestling because, like you said, we all started at fans at one point. So I see a couple of questions, though. We'll save some of those at the end because we got to get some of ours out because Ben's got a limited amount of time with us, but we will open it up later towards the end. So I'll star those and save those. But, Ben, I do want to talk wrestling, but I'm not talking in ring. I'm talking the wrestling podcast from Barstool with Brandon fucking Walker.
Yeah.
So I was a religious listener to that show. You've made appearances on it, and you actually had Brandon Walker as your manager at one point. And
I did.
That was quite the experience. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it, guys. I believe it's still on the Wrestling YouTube channel. But how was it actually working with those guys? Because it seemed like you genuinely were having a blast doing that. Oh,
dude, it was. I mean, I'm a Northeast guy, so I grew up a Barstool fan. Like I've always known about Barstool since the early 2000s, and it was always something that was always in the back of my mind. Thank you.
Oh, look at that. You're getting DoorDash service right to your... I love it.
Thanks, babe.
While watching the Red Sox, too? Why don't I get this kind of treatment, Ian? Where's our interns?
Yeah, no, but I know, you got to get interns. No, but, Brandon was... It just kind of, another thing, fell ass backwards into, because I knew he was a wrestling fan, and I just tweeted at him. And I just said, like, hey, would you... He's like, I want to be a manager. I'm like, would you manage me? And he's just like, go on. And I knew Jake Marsh, because he commentated for
Vermont.
For Vermont, exactly. Yep. So that was kind of like pseudo in a bit.
Makes sense.
It was amazing. I mean, going to the office, him inviting me up there, that was surreal. I met basically everybody. Big Cat, awesome guy. PFT, awesome guy. Dave I met, who had no idea why I was there. Was just like, who are
he probably thought you were a basketball player.
Yeah, no, I stood up and he's like, who the hell are you? And he's like, I told him why I was there, and he's like, I had no idea that was a thing.
That's probably why the show was canceled.
Right, exactly. But yeah, because I know in wrestling, right? Yeah. But Nick Bono, who was the social media guy, still very good friends with him. He doesn't work there anymore, but he was great of like being able to get me in there and work with me. And Brandon's awesome. I think Brandon's one of like such a talented, smart person. I was trying to get him for this weekend to go.
Oh, that would have been excellent. He's in a brewery.
And his response is always maybe, possibly. And I'm like, so he's tough to get a hold of. He's very busy.
College football season too, and that's his thing. He's
got 3 or 4 kids. How many kids he has, I don't know. But like, so I was hoping like it's a Sunday, it's not a Saturday, it's not college football, but it's just tough for him. But because he lives like north of Chicago, so he's not super far from Milwaukee. But yeah, I don't think it's going to work out. I shot him a text. I was hoping it would, but I get it. It was a shot in the dark. But it was amazing. It was amazing working with those guys. And like I said, I've always been a Barstool fan, and always the utmost respect for them. And I hope one day we can do more. But we'll see.
Bring back wrestling. Get it trending.
Exactly.
Well, now that we are talking wrestling, one question we like to ask our guests, pretty much every single guest. I think we've asked them pretty much the first question, but who was that first wrestler that really sparked that imagination and sparked that fandom for you? And follow-up question, how'd you get into it? You kind of mentioned it. You kind of talked about it a little bit with Gilbert, but give it a little bit of a backstory.
Yeah, how did I get into liking wrestling, or how did I get into wrestling?
Well, I guess a two-part question.
Both.
So, yes.
I just turned on WCW one day and I saw Kevin Nash. And Kevin Nash has been my favorite wrestler since I started watching. He's always been my favorite. And you can just see it the way I wrestle too. Is like I'm very similar to a lot of the stuff that he does. And now it's cool because now we're like acquaintances, and I'll see him at places and he knows who I am. And even
Hell yeah.
at WrestleCon, I out of nowhere, he just yelled out to me, "How was the tryout?" So so that was pretty cool that he knew that I had one. I didn't tell him, like he just knew through like social media because he follows me on Instagram, on Twitter, and stuff like that. So that's really, really awesome. Like kind of like a hero of mine in wrestling, just knowing about me. So that was always that's really like was surreal when that happened. And he likes the videos too. He said that to me. He's like, keep being a sarcastic asshole. It works. And so I was like, wow, that's so cool. I was literally I couldn't, I like lost like my voice. I was speechless. But yeah, then getting into wrestling, like I said, like what sparked it, it's hard because nothing really besides Gilbert just saying, do you want to do this? Like I wasn't like, I got to be a wrestler. I would just listen to Busted Open one day and Enzo was on and he said he was going to be at a show in Baltimore. And I was like, oh, you know what? My wife was dog sitting for a friend. And I thought like, why don't I just go? I had nothing else going on. It was a Friday night and nothing else. And I did. And I was at intermission and Gilbert just walked right up to me and was just like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm just Ben. And he's like, oh,
Just Ben.
You want to be a wrestler? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then he walked,
Why not?
and he walked me up to James Ellsworth, and James Ellsworth is my trainer. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I trained
Awesome.
with Ellsworth. I trained with also a guy by the name of Sickend. He's Nick Taylor, but he goes by Sickend on the independent circuit. Was trained by Ruckus. If you're an independent wrestling fan, Ruckus is big on the East Coast. It's been like he was like old CCW days. He still pops up in GCW every now and then. But Ruckus trained him, so Ruckus was also part of my training. But Nick taught me a lot of the basics, then Ellsworth taught me a lot more of like the advanced stuff. So that was really cool. Like learning like going on the road, and the car rides, like learning a lot like the ins and outs of the wrestling business, and that helped me out a lot and gave me a lot of content, honestly, for all my stupid ass videos. So
I have heard that Ellsworth is kind of like that fun road buddy from a lot of WWE interviews.
He is.
And during that time when Ellsworth was with the company.
He won Money in the Bank. People forget.
He did. He's a character, man. Jimmy, I call him Jimmy, but yeah, Ellsworth's a hell of a character. He, a lot of people still respect. He's very well respected. I see him interact a lot of former WWE. You get what you get with him. He's a funny, sarcastic, he's a sarcastic asshole too. The
one thing he's always going to have on his resume is that he beat AJ Styles. Nobody's going to be able to take that away.
He'll let you know. He'll tell you.
I don't blame him.
He'll tell you more often than not. He's a guy that never should have made it. Right? Like he just never. He knows it. I can tell you, he's not in great. He was never in great shape. He was never like a great looking guy. But he knows this shit better than a lot of people. And he was trained by Axel Rotten, who to this day, Paul Heyman still says Axel Rotten was one of the greatest minds I've ever worked with. So, and that's coming from one of the greatest minds in professional wrestling.
True.
So, and Axel taught Ellsworth, and rest in peace to Axel. But he was able to, get Ellsworth to the point where he got a WWE contract because of the intangibles, not because of he's a 6'5", ripped up, athletic marvel. He did it the way that a lot of guys don't get there, is just through like personality and the little things that Vince saw at that time and got him the job. So He couldn't believe it when he did. He was like, when Vince called him 6 weeks after that match with Braun Strowman, Vince calls him and is just like, "Hey, pal, you want to come on the road?" He thought he was getting ribbed by. He thought one of his
I would think
buddies-
that too. Honestly, I would.
He did. He could, yeah. So, but it ended up being true, and he did some really cool, memorable stuff, and that no one
That
can
he
take it
did.
from him. No one can ever take it from him.
You're damn right. He definitely had value in that run with Carmella. That was
Carmella,
fun
the
for
stuff with Ambrose, stuff with AJ, the stuff,
Yeah.
That's when I
it
first
was,
started getting in.
yeah, it was a very, it was a good 2.5 year run for him.
Hell yeah. So you brought it up a little bit. WrestleCon, that was going on in SummerSlam weekend,
Yep.
and you had that tryout. You were open online with us about it, and you even made some hilarious videos about it too. So I'm curious. Now, was this your first
Second.
second WWE tryout? Okay, and what was this experience like compared to last one, or were they kind of similar?
Yeah, it was much different, man. So 2021, I had a tryout. It was February, so it was still in the midst of COVID. There was only 12 people, so 12 of us were there, and within the first hour, basically 5 people quit. So there was only 7 of us. It was like 6 wrestlers and 1 athlete that were left, because it was 6 and 6, and 5 of the athletes just said, "This isn't for me." I think 1 failed the COVID test. That's why he didn't. So it was 11, and like 4 quit. Remember, one guy quit 10 minutes into the warm up. He was like
We'll see it, pal.
He was an offensive lineman from Wake Forest. He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." He's
well,
just-
yeah. makes
guy
sense.
just got a free like trip to Orlando, because they do pay for you to go. They pay you the whole way. They pay the hotel. They give you eat. If you need a rental car, they get the rental car. They get everything for you. Hotel, airplane. Yeah, it's all
what's
covered.
up.
That's good.
It's really cool. So that was all the same. But like in 2021, they ran us through the ringer. Like we were blown up the whole time. Like they just absolutely like. And I don't know what was going on, because everyone I've talked to has never had this tryout experience that we did. Like there was only 7 of us, and the 2 rings, and we were just in and out the whole time. Like 3 just grueling 2.5, 3 hour sessions, and of the course of 2 days. This one, it was a lot less physically demanding. It was more mentally demanding, because like we had to do more promos.
Okay.
We were there all day, so it was like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And you had to be on, like, and it wasn't like when you were in the ring, it was tough, but there was 51 people. So it was a lot more time for like recovery. So it wasn't as physically demanding, but again, like very mentally, like you had to do the promos. You had to, there was matches. We had 2 matches. The indie wrestlers had 2 matches each. And you had some downtime where you just, you couldn't get, where like you have to be like, how much should I eat here? Because I don't know what's going to come next. You don't know, so you got to like figure it out. Right. Because wrestling's funny, because you gotta eat like an athlete, but also you gotta eat for aesthetic purposes. So you can't overdo it. You gotta know kind of your body and like what reacts to it well. So if you take your shirt off for a match, you're not like looking bloated as shit. So yeah. So it was an amazing group too. So I will say that, like there was really like even the athletes. There was 34 athletes. There was about 17 indie wrestlers, 4 females, and then 13 male indie wrestlers. And I'll say it, man, like the athletes were so respectful. They weren't
That's
just
good.
like acting like, "Oh, this is stupid," or "This is dumb," or like, "Oh, whatever, I'm just looking for a job. I don't care what this is." Like they all respect, especially after we had our first matches. They saw the match. They were like, "Can't believe you!" And they were only like 5-minute, 6-minute matches. They weren't like these, 30-minute classics or anything. They were just like, "I cannot believe, like, how'd you guys do that?" Like they were all just like so like amazed by it, of like us going out there and just doing a 5-minute match. They just couldn't believe it. So it was a really good, very encouraging group. I'm not going to say who's. I know a few who have got the yes. I'm very, very happy for them. And there's no ill will. There's no jealousy. They deserve it. Everybody that was there, for the most part, I think deserved to get hired, because everybody worked really, really hard. So, and unfortunately, it can't be everybody, but it's a good test. I was really happy that it was a group of all just good people. And you'll see who does make it in the next few months when they do announce it. And they're all very deserving, and I wish them all the best of the individuals who made it.
Love to hear that. And I know they probably had a lot of people stopping by too, like other wrestlers from the WWE that were checking things out.
Yeah, we had who helped out. Josh Briggs helped out at the tryout.
Oh, I love him. Yeah.
Yeah, Josh is a good dude. They had Josh, the Kalani Jordan, Last Legend, helped out. Oh my God,
lot of the NXT
Miles
names.
Bourne. Yeah, those
Miles
were the
Bourne.
ones that were the most. They were the most of them that were there. But then also, like Big E stopped by, John Cena stopped by,
Oh, wow.
Chelsea Green stopped by, who I've known, from the Indies, and it was cool to see her. Really, Grayson Waller, Rhea Ripley, who am I missing? Tiffany Stratton. Yeah, they all kind of stopped by, said a few things, which was really cool. Who did I meet? You know who I marked out the most for at the tryout because her niece was trying out. I didn't
Oh, I
realize
saw this. Yeah.
was Cheryl Hines. So Cheryl Hines, and because I love Curb Your Enthusiasm, so Cheryl Hines, because they invited fans to come. You had to pay for it. Any way they can make money, right? But Cheryl Hines showed up, and I was just when Zoe, her niece, Zoe Hines, I didn't put two and two together. I met Zoe, awesome person, amazing human being, great personality. I think she's got a future in this if she continues to do it. Now I don't know if she's signed or not, but I think she's an incredible person. Like when she mentioned that in her promo, like, oh, you probably all know my last name. Shout out to my aunt Cheryl, and she stands up. I'm like, wait, what?
You're marking out.
I was sitting there, like, I stood up, like, you gotta be kidding me. And I love Curb, and I met her, and what a sweet person that Cheryl Hines was. And that's who I marked out for. John Cena was
Hell
there.
yeah.
I marked out more for Cheryl Hines. So
Suck it, John.
To each their own.
No, I swear. I mean, because that's the only problem when it comes to wrestling. It's funny because everyone's like, oh, who'd you get to? Oh, that's so cool. You met this person. You end up becoming a little like jaded to it, where it's like, these are now my coworkers,
They're just people.
they're just, and that's what it becomes. And I'm like that with a lot of, like, anytime I meet any sort of like celebrities or so now, but like Cheryl Hines was like one, I didn't expect it. So it was more like, oh my God, like
Right.
what the hell? Like I never would have thought I would meet Cheryl Hines. It's one of those things. Like with wrestling, you're like, I feel like eventually I'll run into everybody. Like you'll run into somebody at some point. But that one was just like, whoa, I did not expect it. So that was my mark out moment.
So this isn't one of my questions, but this actually brings something up that I'm actually kind of interested in and intrigued by. So obviously we're not in the behind the scenes. We've had our sneak peeks and every now and then, but like I kind of want to know. So there's that whole stigma of like, oh, you don't want to mark out, brother. Don't work yourself. Is that still a thing backstage?
Some people, so I know when it like the old stigma in WWE. Now I wasn't wrestling at the time but they used to say, and Ellsworth would tell me this about like, you weren't allowed to say a word to anybody. Like you had to just kind of stand there and like only speak if you're spoken to, and that was kind of how it was. When I did extra work in 2021 with WWE, and it wasn't like that at all. Like everybody was for the most part, everybody was very, very friendly. Like the ones that really stood out were like Ziggler, Karrion Kross. Those were the ones who were like really extremely, Molly Holly, extremely friendly.
Great.
Everybody was really cool. And then everybody else was like, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. Like they didn't, Rhea's very friendly. But they'll stop and talk to you if you want to talk, so they're not going to like big time you or anything. So it's not like that, like it used to be. When it comes to indie shows too, I tell everybody, because I think it's the whole like, oh, you're not supposed to take pictures to anybody. Don't ask for pictures.
Like your opponent.
That shit is so like, I get like if you just had a match with somebody and like, if you had a big story I get like not doing that, but like if it's like there's a name on a show that you've seen before, and I hate the whole like, oh yeah, you shouldn't mark out and take pictures, because I hear a lot from older guys who are like, I wish I took more pictures. Like I don't
Take the pictures.
Take the pictures. Like, dude, like we're all human, and if you're a fan of the person, as long as you do it respectfully and you don't do like the mark questions of like, oh, what was it like? I always call it like the Chris Farley show type questions. What was it like wrestling John Cena? Oh, like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like as long as it's not like that, as a wrestler, as a fan, yeah, you can ask that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. But like as a wrestler, as long as you say, hey, I'm a big fan. Do you mind if I grab a picture with you? Like I was on a show with Sting. Like I don't know I don't know the next anytime I'd ever get a picture with Sting in the face paint. Like, and I'm like, I'm taking the picture.
Yeah,
like if somebody wants to call me a mark for it, go right ahead, dude. Like
they do the same
go
thing.
F yourself, dude. Like I will do that picture. I will take that picture any day out of the week. Like and most people say it now. Like I tell guys, not like I'm any big name or anything, but I tell guys all the time who ask me, it's like, hey, I know I probably shouldn't take a picture with. I'm like, no, dude. I'm like, always take the picture. Always ask for the picture. I hate when people like try to belittle somebody trying to take a picture. It's not, nobody really lives by that mindset anymore. Always ask for a picture. It's worth it. You'll have that memory. And yeah, that's just like silly old wrestling BS tropes. That now I don't believe in that shit.
Well, I will. This kind of brings into my mindset to my next question, I guess. So there's a guy that's been kind of belittling you online. His face is online. He does actually show his face in the account profile picture. So we'll tie it in with Matt Cardona's match, which is the main reason you are here on this podcast. So I just wanted to mention Matt Cardona's boring ass 4-minute promo. Doesn't cut a 4-minute promo like you. I'll tell you that. No emotion in this guy. Yeah, awful. Just filler. But he didn't really say much of value, in my opinion. But he did say something that did raise one of my eyebrows. He stated that what you're doing currently isn't necessarily groundbreaking, but like, sure, I guess we've all seen a big funny man on the internet who could talk before. But what Tribal Keith is doing, I mean, Tribal Keith, genuinely, this is a genuine belief, has been groundbreaking. You don't see this in wrestling that much, and it's extremely entertaining. I don't care what people say. It's getting people biting.
talk about falling ass backwards into something else. I feel like that's my whole life. When I made, if I'm pulling the curtain back, guys, guess who Tribal Keith is? But nobody. Well, for a while, nobody realized it. So
you still get people.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Oh, there's Tribal Fan 20. There you go. Acknowledging Tribal Keith. Dude.
On cue.
That's amazing. I made that video on Labor Day. And because I saw the thing that happened with Rhea at Clash in Paris. And I'm like, oh, man, you know what? Like, I was thinking of a video to make, and I just did it. Yeah, sorry if I pulled the curtain back too much. Guess who Tribal Keith is? Right. And so I made that video, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, my God. Like, I look at it later that day. I'm like, 50,000 views. I'm like, I'm like, oh my God, people think this is a real guy. And so I started going along. I'm like, yeah, this guy sucks. Like, I started going along with it because I'm like, oh man, what a loser. Like, what a piece of shit. And then it just kept it like a groundswell, and it eventually got to like 500,000 views, and people were like, who does this guy think he is? And I'm just like, this was a bad TikTok filter. You guys are unbelievable right now. That's how easy. And then even ringside,
wrestling fans aren't the smartest, dude.
Even ringside, I try not to say that, but you're right. Ringside news was even like, whoa, what is this? And I'm like, and they even admitted, like, I talked to them, they were like, yeah, you got us. Like, we didn't. Crazy. And they liked it. They were like, you really got us. And I just kind of, and then, God, I never get his name right, but somebody on Twitter, Gohan Jag or something is his name on Twitter, but he gave the name Tribal Keith. And I was just like, that's so good.
That is good.
So I rolled with it.
With the one.
And it's been fun. It's been fun. And it's all in good fun. And there's obviously some dorks online who take too much offense to it and try to think of something that it is what it isn't. But they're always going to have that when something gets popular. So it's been a good time. I'm my own troll, and I enjoy it. I enjoy having fun with it. I say it's like Eminem and 8 Mile, where it's like you just make fun of yourself. What can anybody say? Like if you just call yourself out,
drop the mic.
Now nobody can really say much to you. It's like so. Tribal Keith's been something, dude. And we sold about 45 shirts. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it'll end up being around like $1,000 that we're going to donate to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. And so that's all from, people just, buying the shirts. I'm throwing a little bit in as well, but, it's become something that I did not think it'd become, so it's, and I know Matt had something to say about it. Oh, you just want to pop the boys. I'm like, and yeah, obviously, dude, that's the most fun. I like having a good time. I like popping the boys, dude. Like that's what this should be about.
That's the whole point of social media, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Speaking from the guy who's like revolutionized pro wrestling social media, and he can think what he wants. I know Matt. I have the utmost respect for Matt. I think Matt is an absolute trailblazer. He's right. Z Long Island story did change the way a lot of people use social media, especially in professional wrestling. So I truly I think the world of Matt Cardona. I think he's an absolutely, he really has done things that nobody else has done. But I also think Matt can be extremely conceited at the same time. And I do. And I think I don't even want to say, I know on Sunday, I'm going to show them that I'm not just the funny guy, and I'm not just like I only make funny videos. Because a lot of people think, oh, why don't you post more of your wrestling matches? Because guess what? Unless you're doing death matches or you're doing shit from the top rope, wrestling clips don't go viral. All right, like
like your last video said, it's a big boot, it's a choke slam, and what else am I missing?
Yeah, when you come see me in person, yeah, exactly. When you come see me in person, like you'll be like, oh, all right, that's fun. Now I majority of the people that see me in person like me and like what I can do. But like, there's no way that unless I'm choke slamming somebody from the top rope to the floor, like there's no way choke slams are going to go viral. There's no way sidewalk slams are going to go viral. So you got to do something different. So it's like, yeah, I'll post all this shit of me wrestling, but if, like I say, the things that go viral in wrestling, death matches, and guys like things that Leon Slater, Javon Evans can do. It ain't shit I'm doing. So, and all power to them. Like, believe me, they are amazing. But like, I can't do that stuff. So it's not, I can't. Nothing like that's gonna ever go viral. So,
right.
That's why I had to do something different. So it's fun, but people will. And Matt's try to bring me down, like, oh, I got to go chase championships and wins and all that stuff. No, I'm chasing the most important thing. It's not the championships. It's not the wins. It's not any of that stuff. The most important thing is attention, and that's what you want. You want the views. Logan Paul said that on that documentary, Paul American. He said, "Attention, views is currency." It is.
It is. Well, it's funny you brought that up with the Z Long Island story and talking about Zack Ryder. He was like the originator of putting himself out there on social media to get over in professional wrestling. And that's why I like this matchup on Sunday. Brawl in the Beer Hall 2 going down in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You versus Matt Cardona, because I think there's parallels between you two, because that's how you have organically got over with the fans, is by doing these videos. So one question for you. Is this arguably one of the biggest matches of your career? And what are the confidence levels going into this one against the complete Matt Cardona?
I'd say it's absolutely one of my biggest matches. I mean, he is the most high-profile guy on the indies, no matter what anybody says. Everyone can say, like, oh, well, he came from WWE, so he already had a name. No, but he's completely revolutionary. He's completely changed everything. Yes, did it help? Yes, of course. It gave him a little bit of a boost. But Matt Cardona is not Zack Ryder. It's a big difference. And so, yeah, I'd say it's one of the biggest matches. It's one of my more high-profile matches. I've been very fortunate this year to have a lot of really good matches. Matt Riddle, Nick Nemeth, Bishop Dyer, some of the really big matches that I've had. But I'd say this one's probably going to top all of them, just because of how both of us utilize social media and how much higher profile it eventually became because of like the promos we cut and how we're kind of taking it a little bit personal. And when it comes to confidence, I got all the confidence in the world. Like I've gone toe to toe with some of the best. Nick Nemeth's one of the best wrestlers in the last 20 years.
No doubt.
I've wrestled him twice now this year, and we've had two great matches, So if I'm hanging with guys like that, I think I can hang with Matt Cardona. If I can hang with the Matt Riddles of the world, I think I can hang with Matt Cardona. Bishop Dyer, I think I can hang. And that's not no slight at Matt, but Nick Nemeth's Nick Nemeth, and so I going into this match, I have a ton of confidence. Matt's done amazing for himself, but I think it's time for next man up.
Love that. Can't wait. Going down this Sunday. That's the real reason we brought you in, but we really didn't talk much about the match, but that's okay because we got to know you a little bit more. And you got a little bit of extra time to open up the Q&A to our audience?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's get
Hell yeah. Going. All right, I started some questions, so let's go to Bill Moss here first. He's asking, what's the best advice that another wrestler has given you, Ben?
Ooh, actually, it's kind of recency bias, but actually when I was on Busted Open, Bully Ray said to me, it's really like you got to look inside yourself and figure like, why didn't they pick me? Why didn't they pick you? And like, it's not up to anybody else besides me. And he said that to me, and it kind of gave me it triggered something of like, and I got to understand, like, you can't take it personal and you can't take it as like it was anything else besides me. I got to realize that like, I need to figure out what to get me to the next level. And I need to challenge myself there. So it's not as much advice or almost like enlightening of like giving me kind of just telling me like, it's on you. Now it's your turn. Like, you have the tools, like you're entertaining, you have the height, you have ability, but like now, what are you going to do with it? What can you do? What can you do next? So it not as much advice where I say it's more of like an enlightenment of like a light bulb going on. But that using recency bias, that's probably the best I've gotten recently.
Hell yeah. We got Kind here. He said, I feel like it's a very common one, but what advice would you give someone who's looking to get into wrestling without having that experienced athletic background?
So you don't need it. You don't need it, right? So it's not. I wouldn't say that like it's a prerequisite that you need a athletic background to get into wrestling. It helps. Number one, I just say just be ready. I mean, the number one thing is like physically be ready because it's not a walk in the park. You know, a lot of you if you watch WWE your whole life, these guys and girls make it look easy. You know, it's not. Hitting the ropes. It's funny because during the tryout, when our session was hitting the ropes, and I looked at all the athletes afterward, they were all in the mirror pulling up their shirts and looking looking at all the bruises. It hurts, guys. Like the bumps hurt, the ropes hurt. Like it's not. This isn't like you're like a pillow or a mattress that you're falling on. This hurts. So I tell people just be ready that it's going to leave bumps and bruises. You're going to feel it. You're going to get hurt. And not injured. Like hopefully you don't get injured, but you're going to get hurt. You're going to hurt.
If you do it right, you won't get injured.
Hurt and injured are two different things. You can play injured. You can do things. I mean, you can do things hurt. You can do things hurt, but you can't do things injured. So like hurt. So I always tell people it's going to hurt. And then like when it comes to mentally getting into wrestling, and if you've never done anything athletic, like be prepared that people are going to run you down. Like coaches, other wrestlers, you're going to be told that you suck. You're going to be told that you're green. You're going to be told you're doing everything wrong. Like be prepared for that. And you don't have to take everyone's advice. Like remember, not all advice is equal.
You wouldn't take advice from somebody you wouldn't take criticism for or something along those lines. Aaron Rodgers said it, yeah.
That's the number one. And I said that to somebody online once, and I made a video off of it, and that was all true. The guy just was in my DMs cussing me out and saying I'm disrespectful, I'm a piece of shit. I'm like, who are you? And I was just like, I'm like, dude, you haven't. He's like, oh, I've been watching wrestling for 35. I'm like, I don't give a shit if you've been watching wrestling. I've been watching baseball for 25 years. You think I'm gonna go tell Aaron Judge how to swing a bat?
Nope.
You think I'm gonna get me in his DM saying, "Hey, brother, choke up a little more on the bat. Maybe you'll get more power." Like, who the fuck am I?
I wish that should be a PA to just Twitter in general, all of it. I had one question on there regarding Twitter. I cannot stand it. It's a cesspool.
Dude, it's so funny that like people think and they're just like, "Oh, wrestling's different." How? Am I gonna go?
Same.
Because I've been watching movies since I was 5 years old. Am I gonna go tell Tom Holland how to be an actor because he's younger than me? It's like wrestling has this weird thing where like guys who are older who've just been watching it or maybe helped out at a few indie shows back in the day, or or did something that like they can just like go around to younger wrestlers and be like, "Oh, kid, this ain't how you do it." Like, shut up. Like, no.
Everybody's got confidence online, man.
No, it's not even online. Even you get this in person too.
I bet. Yeah.
Like guys like think this. Like it's like, hey, dude. And I just said politely to the guy, I don't need to take your advice. So you have a bad attitude. No, I just don't know who the hell you are.
Yeah, you have the right to choose who you take advice from, people. Yeah,
bro. Like so that's I went on a tangent, but I tell all younger wrestlers. You don't need to I say you can be respectful. You can say, "Hey, thanks for the advice." You don't need to take it. Don't take everyone's advice. Take the advice from people, like you said, that you would also take criticism from. So,
yep. I dig it. Bill also wants to know, of all the ex-WWE guys you've met, who's your least favorite? Wow, he's really trying to stir the pot.
I don't know if I can say it, Bill.
You don't have to.
No,
just say that guy behind you.
If I can think of a story.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of who.
Not so pleasant experience with someone.
Yeah, there was one certain WWE wrestler when I was there doing extra work who was kind of bitchy, I would say.
Okay.
I won't say names.
Fair enough.
But
yeah.
she was
That.
not very kind. It was very kind. Brock Lesnar was a kind guy. Didn't say much, but he said hi to us. And he's
he doesn't have to do that.
I'm a big guy. You see a guy like that, like he is a freak of nature.
He's not human.
No, he's like a gorilla.
Dude, he somehow is aging in reverse.
Because his arms are long, like he has, and they're so like It's like this doesn't make sense.
No,
it doesn't make sense.
He's not human. That's the only way to describe it. We got two more real quick, and then we'll get you out of here. Kind says, "Hope you don't mind me asking, what's the most painful move you've ever took, either in a match or even if it was just in training?
All right, yeah, so I do know this one. It was I wrestled, and this is not his fault. It was just it was physics. I wrestled Alex Hammerstone in 2021 in Pittsburgh in this place called PWX, and this is when he was the MLW champ, or Open champ. He was one of the champs, but he's like, well, he does the Nightmare Pendulum, right? And he's strong as an ox. Like it's not show muscles. This guy's a freak. So he's like, well, the Nightmare Pendulum might not work because you're too tall. So when he swing through, your feet might hit. So I'm like, all right, what else can you do? He's, well, I do a Burning Hammer. I'm like, okay. So he picks me up for the Burning Hammer. And I don't know if you guys know what the Burning Hammer is, but you're in a fireman's carry facing up. And you get turned over and you land on it's a face bump.
Oh, yeah.
So it's the attitude adjustment, but the other way around, basically. So when he picks me up, all I hear is, oh, shit.
Oh, no.
Not because he wasn't strong enough to lift me, because of how long my body was. So his arms were straight out, and he had to flip me. And so I'm like, I just like, go for it, man. And he did, and my forehead went straight into the mat. And I saw stars for a second. He's like, are you good? You good? You good? I'm like, yeah, dude, just pin me. Let's get out of here.
Time to go home. Time's up.
That was the most painful move I've ever taken, was that Burning Hammer.
That doesn't sound pleasant. Two quick ones. Favorite city to wrestle in? Do you have one?
I love wrestling in Tennessee, man. I guess I'll say favorite state. Tennessee.
I like that.
Tennessee is a blast. The fans in Tennessee, they
Never hear that.
love.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you don't have in front of them. You don't have to do much. Like they are like, I'll tell
Pure.
you, dude. They are pure wrestling fans. It's really cool to wrestle in front of them. But I've wrestled in a lot of cool places. I'm starting to really like Florida. You know, I go there often with CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling. I got a few matches next
Saturday, right?
Next Friday and Saturday. LJ Cleary, who is my tryout buddy.
Nice.
Awesome human being in Tampa, and then in Port St. Lucie against Jackal Stevens. So that's been cool. You know, Florida's been really cool. I love wrestling up north as well because that's where I'm from. I got a few matches coming up in November for Beyond, for live pro wrestling as well. I'm in Warwick, Rhode Island. I'm from Rhode Island, so Cranston, Rhode Island, Warwick, Rhode Island. I get to wrestle there. I get to wrestle in Worcester.
Awesome.
Those have been fun as well. So I'd say like Tennessee, and then anything I can do in either Massachusetts or Rhode Island.
See, you don't hear, like Ian said, you don't hear that too often, so I like that. It's different because everybody will say Chicago or New York.
No, dude. Tennessee, man. I'll tell you, like, for my type of they just, because they boo the heels, they cheer the faces.
I respect that.
They always do. There's no very little like smart fan. Like they just get they know the business, but they turn everything off. They just enjoy.
They just immerse themselves into what it should be.
They want to enjoy the show. They're great.
I love that. So, all right, final one from the fans, and then we'll get you out of here. Actually, Ian's probably got a question for you, and then we'll get you out of here. But Kind says, what's your favorite wrestling match of all time? Personally, his is Shane McMahon versus Steve Blackman at SummerSlam 2000.
Dude, some of my favorite matches, actually, and people always ask, like, who would you wrestle? And a lot of people think I'd pick, like, a big guy or something. But if I had to pick one person from history, it would be Bret Hart. I'd pick him because one of my favorite matches is Bret Hart Diesel Survivor Series 95. When he won with the roll-up out of nowhere, when Bret won with the roll-up. Great match. I think Bret made big men look the best they've ever looked. So I would always say I want to work with someone like Bret. Now, I also have other favorite match. Like obviously Taker Shawn was one of my favorite matches.
Mania.
Taker and Edge at Mania in 2007. I also loved, and still to this day, TLC SummerSlam 2000. I'd say that's probably top of the list because I was a huge Dudley Boys fan growing up.
Hell yeah.
I loved the Dudley Boys, and then I just loved all those matches. They were just nothing beat those. So I would say if I had to pick top of the list, it would be SummerSlam 2000, the TLC match.
Not a bad pick.
Also, honorable mention, I would say John Cena, Rob Van Dam at One Night Stand.
Hell yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
God, that's got to be on there. At least top 10 for me. I think
Because
there's
a lot of it, and it wasn't even the wrestling; it was the atmosphere, right?
Exactly.
That gets you into it. So yeah,
That's what gets me into wrestling. I say it all the time.
Fans.
It's just the fans, the music, the entrance. That's what draws me. The storytelling of it all.
yeah.
Not
Like
the
even
moves.
like I bet you people don't really remember, like, and this is a tangent I can get on, but I'm sure most people don't remember Cena and Punk's Money in the Bank 2011. You just
Oh, that's my favorite match of all time, Ben.
You're talking about
I've
versus
talked
the
about it on this
Yeah.
podcast all the time. That is my favorite match of all time.
But I
He
bet
was
you
there.
remember more of the pop than you do of the
I
match.
remember all that happened during it. Yeah, with Laurinaitis and Vince coming out and everything.
Yeah, and you remember him leaving through the crowd. You remember
Yep.
that. You remember that stuff. you
Not
know?
in ring.
Like, and I bring up the perfect example of that is like a Joe Hendry, right? And I think the world of Joe. This is not what I'm about to say is not a slight at Joe whatsoever, but most people would not be able to tell you like a Joe Hendry match, and that's okay. That's okay because he has gotten so over. Like he's gotten so over organically that they don't need to. They love the entrance, and Joe's a good wrestler. I think Joe is amazing. But that shows how over somebody is when like you can get when that music hits and all of a sudden the crowd erupts. You don't have to do a thing else, and that is something that's where you want to get to. It's like you want to
Makes
get
wrestling
to
special.
once that music hits, the people are already. You don't have to do anything in the ring yet, but they're just. You think of the most over guys in history: The Rock, Austin, go down the list, Punk, Cena. When you hear that specific music, you know you're gonna go, and that's what Joe has done over the past 2 years. So, and again, that's a compliment. That is a compliment for somebody like Joe Hendry who's been able to do that. When that music hit at Mania, the place erupted. That is
Perfect
very
moment.
hard. That is very hard to do for a relatively, if you want to call him more unknown, right? But he's not. But like that is hard. And so that what he's been able to do is that's where all wrestlers want to get to is that.
For sure. All right, Ian, what you got for us?
Well, we'll leave you to it. We'll leave you to the Red Sox-Yankees game here. I don't even know what the score is. I will be watching.
Yeah, what is the
0-0.
score?
Bottom of the 4-0-0. Yankees have 2 on right now.
Oh shit, we do got to get him going.
I think. Let's see. Come on, double play. Hold
Who's on the mound? Is still who started?
early?
There's 2 rookies, right?
Oh yeah, the rookies were starting. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well. I mean, his pitch counts.
It's his 5th start, and he's starting in a
That's
make or break
insane.
game.
That is insane.
That is wild. That's pressure right there.
I know. We talk about pressure on like Twitter and getting yelled at by people with 6 followers.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah.
And this guy's at Yankee Stadium. Come on, get in and go. Come on, go ahead.
Live
Play at the
reaction.
plate. Play at the plate.
Here we
Damn
go.
it! What a bad arm. They're safe. 1-0 Yankees.
okay.
Son of a
All right.
bitch.
Oh, boy. Well, you know what?
Try to
Use
lift them
that
up.
anger. Use that anger and direct that straight at your opponent this Saturday.
Oh, I sure will.
Sunday.
Pal.
Sunday.
Sunday.
I'm not going, so I didn't read the game.
Sundays.
No, that's fair. You got any final words for Matt Cardona before we send you out of here, Ben?
I think I've said everything I can, and he always says that he's always ready. I don't think he's ready. I truly don't think so. I don't think so. I think he thinks I'm the funny ha-ha guy. He doesn't know I can turn it on. People don't realize I'm still 6'12", 15% of a metric ton. I'm a big goddamn hoss, man. Yeah. And I can laugh. Yeah, I can joke, but I can also turn that off in a second. So he'll see Sunday night at Lakefront Brewery. I think he knows in the back of his mind what he's up against, but he's going to play the cool guy, the too cool for school guy. And he can keep doing that all he wants. But once the bell rings, things are going to change. So
Definitely going to be must-see stuff on Sunday. I think tickets are still available, so if you're watching this and you're a Pro Wrestling Ventures fan, go on and get your tickets. I believe they're on X at Pro Wrestling Ventures. And while we're here, Ben, before we send you off, why don't you tell the people where they can find you on all the socials?
Yeah, at Big Trouble BB everywhere. You can find me. There it is right there on the screen. TikTok, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, Facebook. I'm on everything. It'll get 0 stars and he's 6'10" on Kiss. Hey, I'm also 257 pounds. I don't know when the hell that was taken. Yeah, Keith, son of a bitch. Keith, I've created a monster. But it's all socials at Big Trouble BB. You can find me there. I interact with most people. If you're a jerk, I probably will say something smart to you. But here's the one thing I always say is a lot of people are like, oh, I saw this one time. Thank you, Bill. I saw this one time. Somebody said like, I think that wrestlers interact with fans too much, and we shouldn't do that. I think that's bullshit too. I think that especially on the indie side, like on the indies, like we want people to come to shows. Like that's our lifeblood. Like, if you're not interacting and like WWE does, they don't have to because people are going to go no matter what, right? Like they don't have to interact as much with fans. Right. Like, and that's good or bad thing, whatever. They don't have to. Like they know people are going to come regardless. Indie shows, you gotta get people behind you. You gotta create that organic like type of like relationship with fans. Because if you're not doing that, then why would they want to come to shows? They're not just going to come to shows and be like, oh, I can't wait to see Big Trouble wrestle, right? Like it's that they need to like me first, and then they'll be like, now I want to see him wrestle. Mm-hmm. Like we need to like the character first. We need to like who he is first. And now it's like, oh, he's coming to my town. Oh, I'd love to meet him. No one's going to just if they don't know who I am, I never did these videos. They're going to see me on a poster and be like, all right, yeah, I mean, I don't know who he is. Like,
just another guy.
Another guy on a poster.
Yeah.
So I think interacting with fans is so important, and I'll always take time to do that as long as people are respectful. I answer a lot of DMs, even when I don't have a lot of time, I try to make time for people. And I just think that's really important for indie wrestlers to be able to interact with fans. So, and so that's where you can find me. I got a busy ass schedule. Sometimes I put big posts up of my schedule. Sometimes I don't, but next weekend I'm in Florida. The weekend after that, I'm in New York, wrestling Enzo in Poughkeepsie for the ACW National Championship.
Oh, here we go.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, that'll be fun. After that, I got Jeff Jarrett's show that I got to start promoting more because he's been on me for that. Jeff Jarrett's show.
Sorry, Jeff.
In Nashville, 2 shows in Nashville. After that, I'm back in Florida at Boca Raton. So I'm all over, man. I got a lot. I'm very blessed. I'm booked everywhere. And it's going to be exciting end of the year. It really is.
Big things coming for you, man. Appreciate you taking your free time during the Red Sox postseason game here. So make sure.
It's 2-0. Shit.
Okay, yeah. We need to get him out of here. Guys, if you're not following Big Trouble Ben Bishop, make sure you do because he's got a big matchup this Sunday against the indie god, Matt Cardona. Ben, thanks again for joining us, man.
Thank you guys so much. It's been a blast. All the best to you.
Hell yeah, man. Talk to you later.
Go.
Oh.
Yeah!
I'm glad I cut him off at the right time. He said, "Go cut."
No.
He didn't say anything else.
Hey,
I'm not saying the words.
We're smart marks. We can understand what "cuh" after "go" means. It's Cubs. Go Cubs. Ben Bishop, I love that guy. Favorite guest of all time. No one's been.
I was gonna say. I mean, usually we don't say these things on camera. We've had great guests, but that's definitely probably the best guest that we've ever had on this podcast. So. Thanks again to Big Trouble Ben Bishop. Guys, seriously, if you're not following him on social media, you're missing out. This guy is literally changing the game right now. And that tryout, that's just one no. Everybody has different times, and their time is not right now. That's okay. Ben Bishop will be on your TV one day. I guarantee you. Right, Ian? Right.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because he was really open about it after the tryout. Like, obviously, didn't get the job, didn't get the gig after the tryout, and he's got it. It's there, and he's been grinding his ass off. So, seriously, if you don't know who he is, well, now you do, just a little bit more. And if you can find him nearby somewhere at an independent wrestling show, go watch him because he's legit. He's really funny. Very entertaining guy and very nice guy to meet.
Yeah, and
I
love
get his
that
shirts
too.
Get those shirts as well because
it's on his X.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it. It is, I believe. You might have a little bit better idea of the actual.
So he created those
foundation?
tribal. I don't know the name of the foundation, so I apologize. But he is donating, like he said, all of his proceeds from Tribal Keith purchases, which I think might be over with now. I think it was just a pre-order situation, so they might have sold out. But still, a great way to support Ben is by checking out the merch. And like Hines says, Big Trouble Ben Bishop versus Obafemi is going to feed families in a couple years. And I love what he said about interacting with the fans because that's so true. At the independent level, Ian and you and I, as marks, us fans,
we're marks. Yeah.
We love when wrestlers, hey, this wrestler like this tweet, this guy responded to me, because like he said, that makes you want to purchase that ticket, purchase that T-shirt, and support the wrestler.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's like you don't really want to peek behind the curtain, but also you kind of want to know. At least for me personally, I like to know the actual person that I'm rooting for, just a little bit. I don't want to get too much behind the curtain, but. yeah, this is why we like doing these interviews, and like we've kind of been touching on, the independent wrestling scene is the foundation of pro wrestling in general, and it is hot. Yeah,
it's better than what you're seeing on WWE television right now.
Yeah, good thing we didn't talk about it this week, huh?
No WWE talk.
I didn't watch Raw.
That might be a very first in the history of OTM. I mean, we referenced WWE things, but we didn't dive in and talk WWE. That's usually what we do over here, and this is the reason why we don't do interviews often, guys, because we like to make them more special, and I feel like this episode here with Ben was very special, of course, with you guys interacting in the chat. Kind of says you guys got a few viral clips. Hey, we'll find out what AI does. And there's no MVM title. I said it at the beginning, Bill.
I was about to say, Kine even told you that, Bill.
Yeah, and you were told by Kine, who listens to the rules, no MVM titles are defended during interviews.
He did show up. He didn't just show up for the title. So,
yeah. Brett didn't do that. Brett didn't do that.
Did not show up.
Not Kepshire, it's Brett.
Oh, Brett.
I don't know why you... I'm telling him that you called him Kepshire.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's going to be tough.
That's tough. But he doesn't respond to me on Cubs Twitter anyway. Fuck him.
No, yeah, I guess by default you do stay champions. I'm not going to give you an announcement, but I am going to say, guys, there might be some new people checking us out this episode. So hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed what we are doing over here. Usually go live at 7 p.m. Central, which is 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to support the show, the best way of doing so is by going to the OnTheMarkWrestlingPodcast.com. We got hats. We got mugs. Ian, it's going to get cold soon. I don't know when. But the hoodies we have are pretty nice. They're pretty comfortable.
I mean, yeah, they are very comfortable, and I have about 3 of them right now. I wore one this morning when I walked the dogs because it was 50 degrees outside. I love it. I love fall weather. It's the best.
You know what? Kyle, you make up a good point, and since I run this shit, I'm going to make an executive decision. Brett Haskell has been stripped of his MVM title, and now Kine is the only MVM. Not an official announcement, not an official tweet, but I'm telling you right now, Kine, it is official. You are the only MVM.
You just kicked him in the nuts while you guys were celebrating your title victories and stole the title and ran out of the ring. That's what just happened right there. I love that.
He's celebrating. Yeah, everybody loves it. All right, so we got the approval from the fans. That's all that matters. And then when he gets paid in November, he's going to get a hoodie. Thank you, Kine.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys. And we appreciate Big Trouble Ben Bishop joining us. Maybe it won't be the first time he's going to be on this show. I think we'll get him on a time or two to talk about other things. But make sure you check out his stuff. He's got a lot of matches coming up. And, of course, this Sunday, Brawl in the Beer Hall Pro Wrestling Ventures. Matt Cardona, the complete Matt Cardona, taking on Big Trouble Ben Bishop. Tickets still available, so make sure you check out Pro Wrestling Ventures on social media. Ian, any final remarks before we sign off?
No, that was a very fun interview. And even if the Cubs lost, I probably would have still had a good time with that interview because Ben didn't need to give us all that time, but he did.
During the Red Sox game, too.
During the Red Sox game, which I didn't even think of. So, yeah, again, he's a genuine good dude. So if you see him on the independents, support him, buy his shirts, find his merch anywhere you can. Support him because he's a good dude.
Yeah, and I don't have to say this publicly, but thank you to the Wrestling Junkies for being cool with us interviewing him because I'm weird about that stuff. If another podcast gets an interview, I feel like we're stealing their shine, but they were generous enough since we're part of the Main Event Wrestling Network. We're keeping Ben in the family, I guess. So that's the Main Event Network guy. That's the face of the network, Big Trouble Ben Bishop. So shout out to him once again, and shout out to everybody that tuned in live, and thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.